Hello Star Wars and Unboxing fans, welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show, Shelf Talk. Now you might notice a little bit different. I've removed my ugly mug from the videos for this week because this week's Shelf Talk, we're going to just talk about a few small, kind of seemingly insignificant items that have kind of come through my collection over the years, and I just kind of want to go through them and talk about them because it is a shelf talk, but it's a different kind of shelf talk. These items right here, these are what they call shadow boxes, okay? They are essentially ways, if you go to a science fiction convention or any kind of toy show, car show, sports collectibles, whatever, a lot of salespeople will put items for sale in these little boxes. They have a little cotton base, and they have a very simple thing. I'll demonstrate opening one. I'm not going to open them all, but they have these little pins, and you pull them out. And essentially, when you do that, it just it opens them up, and it allows you to open it and see all the different items that are inside. As I said, I'll do it for this one, and then the rest I'm just going to demonstrate. All right, but as you can see, you pull it out just like any other box. It's got a glass or plexiglass top, okay? And then you can kind of look through and rummage through the different toys, the different things that they have. I've always been fascinated by the knick-knack items, the little items, the things that come through and come across, you know, the retail establishments all around. And I just liked the idea of collecting, you know, a little sampling of everything to kind of show. So I was going to just point out a few things here. Okay, and again, forgive me, I don't have background knowledge on exactly where everything is or is from, but I do know some things. I know things like this. We have this little creature here. Okay, he was actually one of the creatures that one of the first Episode 1 toys that came out that I purchased was like this thing where there was kind of this goo, and the creatures were kind of hidden inside. So this is where he came from. There's a few others that I'll show. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know some of you don't hate me. I'm not a Jar Jar hater. I like this cute little novelty. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is there's a Lucasfilm applause. So it's either a loose figure that came out, or it might have been a premium from something else. These are the guys I remember from the bases. These are the Applause little action figures. Okay, this was kind of like before Star Wars really took off again. I think Chewbacca's part of that too. I also have a pin in here. We have a little C-3PO pin. All right, and then we got some other things here, like we have. Oh well, this is a Greedo from Galoob. It actually opens up, and there's a little play set with a little Galoob figure in there. They're cute. I don't know how much play value there is. Here's another one from Episode 1. This is one of the die-cast cars. It was actually a racing vehicle that was in a race, I think. And you can see there's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Okay, you can tell based on the figures you see here when I actually did this. Now these things up top here, okay, these are like super deformed. There was a big kick in deformed figures where they had the big heads and little bodies. These were not officially licensed, I don't believe. I think they were kind of knockoffs from another country. You also have these items here, which I think were also, I think these were, I can't really tell. I don't remember where these are from, guys, but they have a weird base on them. I believe this, and this all came from them. Might be pencil tops, I'm not sure. Yoda too. And Anakin and C-3PO. Oh, and by the way, this little guy, yeah, my little attempt at art. Okay, my daughter's the artist, me not so much, but you know, I was proud of it at the time. And we have a Millennium Falcon titanium vehicle, along with a titanium shuttle from Episode 1 and Naboo cruiser, and the Sandcrawler. So some nice things here. You know, I kind of was boxing them up, as I showed you, really just for the purposes of having a nice place to store them where I can quickly look at them all. They don't actually have much value other than sentimental value, okay? But let's take a look at a few other items. Okay, here we have a couple of things here. We have these are actual puzzle pieces that came from, I think they look like episode 2, and I think they were premiums from like Lay's potato chips, and they would put together. We also have these things down here, these little statues, and if I'm not mistaken, oh, this was a spoon. Yeah, I think they were spoon toppers. So I just collected the toppers, and I only put 1 spoon in there. And then we have this. I have no idea. I think it's an ornament, an episode 2 ornament. A lot of episode 2. These are lightsaber pens. Okay, I just like to kind of remember what was popular at the time that these came out. So they're pretty cool. I don't believe any of these are complete collections. I just think that they're samples. Okay, now don't ask me why I decided to take 2 5 and dime episode 1 study kits. One that had the good guys like Jar Jar, or actually no, one that had aliens and Anakin, and the other ones that had the Sith and the Jedi. And they basically came with a ruler, a pencil case, a sharpener, and an eraser. Yeah, don't ask me why I did it, but I did. Not sure. Probably will end up getting rid of these or putting them someplace else and using this for something else later. Okay, now we're getting into some interesting. I'm just going to reset this down a little bit. Get this into some interesting things. These look at the little characters on the bottom here. Okay, Das. What does it say here? Let's see. Das Hyperium spielt verrückt. These are creatures or characters. The hippo character is a character from Germany. I think Kinder Egg made collectible figurines that came with chocolate. You're starting to see them pop up in America now. There was a long stretch of time where you could not find them, and they wouldn't do it. It's something to do with the way the figure was inside the chocolate. It didn't really work with United States food packaging standards, whatever. But I think they've figured out a workaround. But I just like that. There you go. Of course, the little hippos are all dressed like Star Wars characters. That's kind of cool. This is my cell phone cover, because back in the day, that was what my cell phone looked like, my first cell phone, and I got a cover for it, and I thought, oh, this is cool. So there you go, some more titanium style, die-cast vehicles, X-Wing, this is Darth Maul's speeder, Sith speeder, and a Y-Wing. Why it's upside down, I don't know. And then these look like they're like matchbooks covers. These are definitely from another country. Very easy to bootleg items like this. They had all this art that was distributed all over the world, the same pictures, the same photos. So anybody could take them and do what they wanted. This particular place put them on matchbooks covers. So pretty cool there. Now, if you remember that first figure that I told you, that I showed you that there were creatures kind of coming out of goo, like in the thing that, well, most of these are more examples of that. Okay, I think Watto, Darth Maul, Anakin, these might have been cake toppers or cake pieces. Yoda. Then you have May the Force be with you pin. You have a Jar Jar. I don't know, I kind of like Jar Jar. I had a lot of Jar Jar stuff. A Jar Jar keychain. Okay, so some interesting stuff there. This is something I thought was cool. It's called, it said Episode 1, no, TV, Star Wars Episodio 1. But if you look at the actual collectible items, you can get that. There's a box, and it was like in the 5 and dime, and you see them on the counter, and you can pick them up. And they had candy in them. But if you look, you see little. Did I have these upside down? I think I did. There we go. You can see that there's little images from the movie, as if it was looking at a film strip. Okay, so it was a nice little thing to get. I think I found the entire box on eBay, and I just purchased the whole box. Something new, nifty, different. You don't see this every day. So there you go. So this one is from, if I'm not mistaken, believe that this is a cell from the droids, I'm sorry, the Ewoks cartoon. Now, I purchased this because it was very cheap, and because Lucasfilm was actually giving these away. Back in the day, I think when it was Star Wars Insider, one of the things you could get, that they were doing for a while, they were kind of cleaning house on the Lucasfilm archives, and one of the things that they gave away were cells from the Droids and Ewoks cartoons. Now, the Droids and Ewoks cartoons, they were Saturday morning cartoons in the 80s. They were meant to kind of try to keep the Star Wars brand alive after the last movie, Return of the Jedi, had come out, of the original trilogy. So in doing so, they tried to put these cartoons together. The Ewoks cartoon was actually pretty successful. It lasted 2 seasons, whereas the Droids cartoon only lasted 1 season. So what Lucasfilm was doing was essentially when you would purchase a year subscription to Star Wars Insider, they would send you a random cell, maybe 2 random cells. This is what a cell looks like, and you can tell by the little hole punches at the bottom here that they would basically place this on a glass sheet with the camera and on top of other ones with backdrops, and they would take a photo of it. But once you've taken the photo of the cell, 24 frames for 1 second of film, so do the math, that times a half-hour or 26-minute program, you got a lot of cells, okay? So they had these boxes and boxes of them, so they were able to distribute them out to Insider subscribers. Well, I did receive some, but it was luck of the draw. They would just basically take a pile, take one, they didn't even look at it, they just put it in an envelope. Well, this is obviously a very, very nice one. This is not one I received. I received what I think was like a backdrop of some fire, and I think I received C-3PO's arm. So it wasn't very much. But this was a beautiful one. I found this on eBay, and you can see the pencil sketching at the bottom, or pen sketching. And then these are all colored in, hand colored. Not, such a different world from what we do nowadays. But I just liked it. I forget which character this is. Might be either Logray or Chief Turpa or Paplu. I'm not 100% sure. But I just liked it. You can even see some of the numbering on there to keep track of them. So kind of a cool piece of history to keep hold of. I'm going to make sure there were other ones in there. I don't think there were. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so let's look up. We got a couple of bigger shadow boxes here. See if I can position this the right way where you won't see this in there. All right, so here, okay, I want to talk about these. These are interesting, okay, guys? Well, first of all, we got our, standard, some toothbrushes. Obviously, Pez dispensers, that became a thing, okay? But look on the left here, and beyond these, not including these things, you have all of these small characters sitting on top of bottle caps. This was a very popular thing throughout the prequels, and that was in Japan. They would have collectible bottle caps. You would buy a 2-liter or 1-liter, I forget what their measurement was, but you'd buy a bottle of Pepsi, or Diet Pepsi, or Mountain Dew, or Pepsi One, or whatever they had at the time, and they would have dangling from it a little bag, and inside that bag was one of these characters. And there were a lot to collect. You could collect, I think it was somewhere in the realm of between 40 and 60 for each episode 1, 2, and 3. And they even came out with collectible stands to put them in. They now go for, people have amassed the whole collection and try to sell it off as one thing for like $300, $400. But I just wanted to have a couple of them, so I was able to, amass a little collection one at a time. Buying stuff from Japan on eBay was a little bit more expensive, so I had to be careful. But I really enjoyed that, so I appreciated having that little bit of history. Okay, and then lastly, we have these items. Again, some more Pez dispensers. I think this is an R2 candy holder. It had some candy on the inside. Now these, I forget exactly where they were from. I think they were like either Canada or Australia, and they were essentially like Rubik's cubes. You can turn them and try to figure out how to make the full face puzzle. There's also a Vader lollipop there. I think this Jango Fett was another candy holder. And then these guys on the right, they're like little busts of the characters. And again, looking at it, it looks like it's in episode 1. But what was interesting about them is that if you open them up, there was a little scroll on the inside. You know what? That's too cool not to show. So give me one moment, and I will show you what I mean. These are not that hard to put back. There's also a Count Dooku lightsaber. I think that also had candy in it. Okay, so here we go. So it looks like a little bust. You can put put it up there, but if you pull it apart, there was a little scroll here, and inside was a little message. Not much. A little thing about Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right. And it was from Kellogg, so it was actually a cereal premium, but it doesn't say It's in English, so I'm assuming it was either England or Australia. I'm pretty sure it wasn't here. Okay, but then you know, pack it up, put it back in this little slot. There you go. Do one more. Let's look at Qui-Gon. Same idea, right? There he goes. Open it up. There it is. And again, a lot of the standard art, you can see there. So, nice. They had no shortage of premiums. They had no shortage of anything in the 1990s. That's why, like, people say when you look at the way they marketed for The Force Awakens or for The Last Jedi or for Rogue One or for Solo, I gotta tell you, folks, anybody that wasn't around or was too young to remember this, 1999, it was insane. That's all I can tell you. It was insane. There was so much marketing all over the world. It was incredible. So, okay, so that will do it for this week's episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show Shelf Talk, or I should say Shadowbox Talk. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Tuba. And also, you can go to Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook and email me or leave a comment if you have any questions. Those are all my shadow boxes, but perhaps we'll take a look at some other you know, smaller items that I have stacked, maybe some books or records or CDs or things of that nature. We'll you know, vary things up as we go. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you.